Hello, and it's the normal playing guide. Wow, big news. Okay, new LR come out. It is the second film. I'm pretty sure you've seen the promo trailer. The return of legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Super Saiyan 2 Broly. Oh, yes. There's a new LR Gohan, but screw him, we're going to touch into this unit, as predicted. And then there's a part 3 where we're going to have Bio Broly. Yeah, it's going to be Bio Broly. There's just no denying it. It'll be an LR Bio Broly. I'm calling it. Calling it. Okay, this guy though, second one. He came back somehow, stronger than ever. Okay, let's go. So, no doubt he is obviously uncontrollable power as the lead. Obviously, they've done this in advance. That's why the new Broly wasn't. But yes, hey, you just wasted a lot of your money and stones on the new one. Well, this guy's probably just going to make you just as salty. By the way, the art is insane. Seriously, I like this. This looks really good. Okay, so let's see what we have. He is a 170% for and 3 key for uncontrollable power, revenge, and planetary destruction, with the additional who belong to Movie Boss, Transformation Boost, and Pure Saiyans. Do you know what? Exquisite, because it's Broly and Movie Boss. You think uncontrollable power and planetary destruction. It is Movie Boss. Well, actually, Terrifying Conquerors. We're talking, and Pure Saiyans. So we're talking Turlers, Liza Turlers. We're talking, well, all the Brolys. There will be new Super Easy A's to come out with some older Brolys. There will be some really, really good stuff. Hell, even stuff like Paragus will actually have a reasonable category to run on now, as this will be a 200% for them as well. Not saying that they're going to be, outlandish, but it's nice that uncontrollable power is teamed up with like Movie Boss and Pure Saiyans, or either or really, and you're going to have a huge amount of play with that. Okay, great. I can already see from a super attack effect what we have on the 12 key. This is going to be absolutely insane. This unit's going to be bonkers. Look at this passive effect. Look at it. Literally an essay. Alright, okay. Bear with me. I know you've seen other people, but bear with me. Entrance animation, and you know it's just going to be surrounded in fire. Okay, extreme class allies defense 40% for 4 turns. Yeesh, that's nice. He himself gets 260% and reduces damage by 60% flat out. Flat out, you get 60% damage reduction. That is insane. Plus an additional 100% attack on attack, additional 2 key and recover 2% HP per type key sphere. Any type key sphere, you 2% HP. So 5 orbs, that's 10%. That's actually not so bad, actually, especially if you run him and a guess, right? While the domain is active, the lava of a certain village, you'll randomly change key spheres, except for int and SDR, to SDR, okay, at the start of your turn, and guards. Okay, so while the domain is active, you also guard. We'll have to see what triggers the domain. Okay, so he's a further orb changer. That's nice, I suppose. That's not too bad. Attacks super effective against all types for the rest of the battle when the character performs an attack in the new domain. Only when it's active. So when the domain is active, guard and super effective against all types. Nice. From the 5th turn, you revive with 60% HP when the character or an ally in the same turn is knocked out. Okay, so that appears to be HP unrestricted. I don't think this guy will be the reason why you get KO'd. It'd be someone else. But should the person fail, no HP. You could go from 0 to 0, and you will revive with 60% of your HP back. Okay, so that's actually nice because it's a way of showing up against somebody who is not as great, right? Well, that's fine. And there doesn't, as I say, doesn't appear to be a restriction on that. Just once only. An additional defense 60% when receiving an attack after the revival skill is done. Right, okay, it's anyone's revival skill as well. That's nice. So after anyone's revival skill, or himself. So that's pretty good. But it's only... So you could have a guest on the same rotation. You could pop it. He could give you the revive in your next rotation. How does that work actually? Because usually when you revive, you skip a turn. Usually. So unless, because like you revive and then that's it, animation done, you come back. But, well, I suppose, because you need to receive an attack. So it'll be the next following rotation you'll get to the 60% defense. Right, okay. And it's got to be that one as well. Okay. So you are looking at a couple of rotations before that. Alright, well, whatever. Changes physical to int, and uncontrollable allies get 60% at the start of the turn from which you got the revival. Okay, right, that makes sense. Okay, so... right, it's not themselves. Right, okay. So, when you revive, and it appears to be no HP restriction, all allies, but it's the start of the turn from which the character's revival skill is activated. That doesn't quite... So, how does that work? So, you get KO'd, you come back, and then it's the next rotation. Are you telling me... It's the character's attacking turn from the turn in which the revival skill is activated. So, you're probably telling me if it's not the next turn, it's literally 2 turns afterwards. It's the very same unit that popped the active skill. When they come back around, if you haven't floated them off, are you telling me they're going to get 60% attack and defense for all allies, and then defense themselves 60% when on attack? Well, when they receive an attack. Depends, because like if the active skill pops, the revival skill pops, and you're still in the game, you're still on your rotation, that makes sense. Because usually it passes the baton. But we'll see. So other than that, touching back, 260% defense, 60% damage reduction. It's a lot of stats. Extreme class allies get a huge amount of defense for 4 turns. Really good for the start of battle. A few units do need to build up defense. I'm thinking of like physical turlers. He gets 20% defense and damage reduction per super attack. So, tell like 40% defense and damage reduction per super attack. So he needs that bit extra at the start. So he could be looking good then. But yes, this unit is going to be remarkable in terms of power. So there is that. A lot of the kit is designed around the domain and also the revival skill. So let's see when the domain kicks in. Because there's an entrance animation, but it's not strictly the domain, right? Right, okay. So there is an active skill. It can be activated when there is a Goku family enemy, or when all the allies in the same turn are uncontrollable power. Now that looks like you can do it from turn 1. So you could do it at the very first turn of any Fighting Legend Goku event. Most difficult content can actually have a Goku family member, and especially like the Supreme Magnificent battles. There's quite a few. You got like Kaioken Goku, UI Goku, Beast Gohan. So there's quite a few there. You can actually trigger that at any point. You appear to have a 100% raise to your attack, and you create the domain. Okay, so it lasts for 3 turns, and you get it by trigger, and then that's how you trigger it. When you trigger your active skill against the Goku family, or when you just have uncontrollable power, that's pretty good, you will be able to have a guard, orb changing, It's going to be pretty ridiculous. So he's made more stronger for the 4-3 turns, and I guess you could choose when that's actually going to be a thing. We appear to have the links here, so we've got same warrior race, prepare for battle, shocking speed, super saiyan, berserker, fierce battle, and legendary power. The general kind of trend. We checked these out, and he's going to fit in with absolutely every single one of these that's applicable. Only problem is he's literally called Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, and that will be this guy, and this guy. So he's got his EZA out right now, I think. He's just had one. And so, like, these two are fantastic. But you won't be able to use them side by side. And this guy's good. In fact, both of these EZAs are solid, right? They're good. This guy is obviously exempt because he can have the name change. Not to say that this guy's terrible, but I suppose he is these days in terms of difficult content. He has his uses. It is mainly tournament, but you won't be able to run him alongside. If he is one of the strongest uncontrollable power on your team, you won't get anything from him. That's the problem. And that goes the same for this guy and this guy, who are both slated for Super EZAs based on when they came out. So again, it's going to be odd to choose who it is. And remember, Uncontrollable Power will have probably this entire roster that you see on screen. So there's that. Right, okay. So what do we have? Super attack effect. Well, I'm pretty sure you can see there that the you appear to massively, that's a 100, your 12 key massively raises attack and defense for the turn, with a 50% chance of further raising your defense and a 50% chance to stun. And what insanity is this? Massively raised defense, that's a 100% raise, with a 50% chance of getting an additional 30% and a 50% chance to stun. What the hell? That is actually insane. Does that actually change based on the super attack effect? Oh, this one. Massively raises attack and defense with a high chance of further massively raising attack and a 70%. Right, okay, so the 12 key gets you a 50% chance to stun and a 50% chance to get an extra 30%. And the 18 key, 100% raise, you get a 50% chance to have a 30% attack and a 70% chance to stun. Oh, wow. So you have a 70%. So you could, where stun applies, you want to go for the 18 key, of course, because 70% is no joke. If you wanted to go for more defensive risk, you could take the 12 key, because you have a 30% buff when applicable, if it triggers on a 50% flip a coin. That's really broken, actually. For both super attacks to be massively raise attack and defense is quite bonkers, I'll be honest, because it means that even additionals, every additional super attack, he's going to double his defensive and offensive value, meaning that, like, you do a super attack, it's going to hurt a lot. Right? Enemies are going to be crying, but that additional super attack is going to be pain incarnate for the enemy. They just will not be able to survive the sheer onslaught that it is. Because, like, this guy, even at 55%, can trigger, like, yeah, quite easily 10 million. It just can, with several super attacks. The 9th anniversary unit can more or less do the same. These guys can both do something similar after they've had a chance to stack a bit, right? So there is that. But like this guy, he's going to hurt the enemy massively. I mean, out of the gate, because of the massively raise, and if you factor in that he's got an active skill which further massively raises the attack, yeah, Broly, they've made the most recent Broly's quite a powerhouse. Okay, the domain, when popped on the active skill, uncontrollable allies get 15% to stats. Increased damage received by superclass enemies by 15% and allies, but an additional 10% for those who belong to the movie hero. So against, well, here's the thing. This is a bit bonkers because you gain guard and you have a lot of attack and you're a key changer, don't get me wrong, and the guard helps, but you will take 25% more damage. That doesn't make any sense. You have 100% more offense. You have a lot more offensive damage and guard, but you take 25% more. But not only that, your allies also get hit. Now, I'll be honest, when you're going to run this guy alongside superclass allies, no, it's just not going to be a thing. But the problem is, uncontrollable allies, attack and defense 15%, so you get an extra 15%, but okay, so it's not so bad, because it's you gain the uncontrollable allies, and it will gain that buff, but you'll knock it off immediately when you're against. That doesn't make any sense. That's kind of crappy, isn't it? That's just, you give the gift and then you get stabbed in the back. Because, like, you'll come across, well, Beast Gohan, and you'll pop the active skill. Broly will get guard and the 15%, but he will take 25% extra damage, and so will everyone else. It's just not good. It's terrible. What the hell? But yeah. Alright, that's enough of this video. It's gone on long enough. New LR Broly, he is going to be freakishly fun to play with. Is he worth the summoning? Yeah, probably. Go for it. The only thing coming up now, really, outside of LR Bio Broly, it's just gonna happen, is really the 10th anniversary coming up in January, February. So, yeah, feel free to summon now, because there's nothing coming up otherwise. Again, Bio Broly. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been the normal playing guy, and yeah, you've been great. I'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.